These are 7 ways that being poor costs more money than being rich, creating a vicious cycle that traps millions in financial hardship. This economic phenomenon, known as the poverty premium, means that those who can least afford it end up paying the most for basic necessities. The concept is not new. In 1993, fantasy author Terry Pratchett introduced what became known as the Boots theory of socioeconomic unfairness through his character Sam Vimes. Vimes, a city watchman earning $38 a month, observed that a quality pair of leather boots cost $50 and would last 10 years. But an affordable pair cost only $10, lasted 2 years, and leaked when the cardboard gave out. Over 10 years, a poor man would spend $100 on 5 pairs of cheap boots and still have wet feet, while a rich man spent $50 once and stayed dry. This fictional insight reveals a harsh reality. Being poor is mathematically more expensive than being wealthy. Let's start with banking, where the poverty penalty hits hardest. In 2023, banks collected nearly $6 billion in overdraft fees alone. The victims are predominantly low-income households. 34% of families earning less than $65,000 were charged overdraft fees, compared to just 10% of those earning over $175,000. The data is even more stark when you look at the extremes. 16% of people making less than $25,000 paid overdraft fees, while only 6% of those earning over $100,000 faced these charges. JP Morgan Chase led the industry, collecting over $1 billion in overdraft fees in 2024. Wells Fargo was not far behind, collecting $1 billion. These fees disproportionately come from the most vulnerable customers. 8% of bank customers, mostly lower income, account for nearly 3/4 of overdraft revenue. Just 9% of users generated 80% of total fee income. The message is clear: banks profit heavily from people who have the least. The racial disparities are equally troubling. 21% of Black Americans and 16% of Hispanic Americans paid overdraft fees in 2024, compared to just 9% of white adults and 6% of Asian adults. Low-income people essentially pay 3 times more to maintain basic checking accounts than everyone else. For those completely shut out of traditional banking, the costs multiply. 23% of adults earning under $25,000 are unbanked, compared to just 1% of those making over $100,000. Nearly 6 million households have no bank account at all, forcing them into expensive alternatives. Cashing a $500 check once a month at Walmart costs $96 a year. At check cashing stores charging 5%, that jumps to $300 per year. The irony is crushing. Those with the least money pay the most to access their own earnings. When emergencies strike and traditional credit is not available, millions turn to payday loans. These financial products carry average interest rates of 400% annually. In Texas, the typical payday loan rate reaches a staggering 664%, more than 40 times the average credit card rate. 12 million Americans use these loans yearly, with rates ranging from 300 to 900% depending on the state. The payday loan industry deliberately creates dependency. Research shows that 80% of borrowers end up getting 11 or more consecutive loans, paying fees and interest repeatedly on the same debt. Nearly 1 in 4 payday loans are reborrowed 9 times or more. It takes borrowers roughly 5 months to pay off these loans, costing them an average of $520 in finance charges. Payday lenders collect 75% of their fees from borrowers with more than 10 loans per year. This is not lending. It is systematic wealth extraction from the desperate. Housing presents another expensive trap for low-income families. While renters paid a median of 31% of their income on housing in 2024, homeowners with mortgages paid only 21%. Nearly half of all renters, 48%, spent more than 30% of their income on housing, compared to 29% of homeowners. For Black renters specifically, over 56% paid more than 30% of their income on housing costs. The inability to buy forces people into expensive rental markets where they build no equity and face constant rent increases. Meanwhile, homeowners benefit from tax deductions, appreciation, and fixed mortgage payments that often decrease as a percentage of income over time. Transportation costs reveal another dimension of the poverty premium. Reliable new cars with good warranties cost more upfront, but they require minimal repairs. Those who cannot afford reliable vehicles often pay 2 or 3 times the sticker price in repairs, towing, and emergency maintenance. A broken-down car can mean lost wages, missed job interviews, and expensive taxi rides. The inability to make a large upfront investment forces ongoing payments that far exceed the initial savings. Rent-to-own stores exemplify how desperate people pay premium prices for basic necessities. A $500 sofa typically costs $1,500 or more through rent-to-own agreements, 3 times the retail price. Consumer Reports found that shoppers at these stores pay 2 to 3 times what they would pay at traditional retailers, with equivalent interest rates as high as 311%. The numbers are staggering. A GE refrigerator selling for $430 at Sears costs up to $1,700 when purchased over 24 months at rent-to-own stores. A Dell computer selling online for $559 costs nearly $3,500 over 21 months at Rent-A-Center. One documented case involved a customer paying $184 monthly for a computer and dryer over 20 months, $3,700 total for items worth less than $1,000 retail. Food deserts create another expensive reality for low-income families. Studies show urban residents shopping at small neighborhood stores pay 3 to 37% more than suburbanites buying identical products at supermarkets. In food deserts, milk prices run 5% higher, and cereal prices run 25% higher than in well-served areas. Wealthy districts have 3 times as many supermarkets as poor ones, while white neighborhoods contain 4 times as many supermarkets as predominantly Black areas. The health implications compound the costs. Healthier foods are consistently more expensive in food deserts. Between 1989 and 2005, fruit and vegetable prices increased 75%, while fatty food prices dropped 26%. Poor families often choose calorie-dense processed foods not by preference, but by economic necessity, leading to diet-related health problems that create additional medical expenses. Credit scores create their own vicious cycle. People with limited credit history, often those without steady incomes to qualify for credit cards, face lower credit scores. These lower scores mean higher interest rates on any credit they can obtain, from auto loans to credit cards to mortgages. They may be rejected for jobs that require credit checks or denied rental applications. The lack of credit access when poor makes it harder to build the credit history needed to access better financial products when income improves. Even utilities punish the poor. In the UK, people who prepay for electricity, most likely to be in fuel poverty, pay 8% more than those who pay by direct debit. The inability to pay large deposits or pass credit checks forces people into more expensive payment structures for basic services. The cumulative effect is devastating. Terry Pratchett's boots theory demonstrated that, over 10 years, a poor man spends $200 on cheap boots, while a rich man spends $50 on quality boots. This pattern repeats across every aspect of life: banking, housing, transportation, food, credit, and utilities. Each individual decision might save money in the moment, but the long-term costs are enormous. Being poor isn't just about having less money. It's about paying more for everything. The poverty premium creates an economic trap that is expensive to escape, and it is profitable for those who benefit from it. Understanding these systemic inequalities is the first step toward addressing them. But for millions of Americans, the Boots theory remains a daily, expensive reality.